At this point in the process, I'm going to go ahead and coat the blade with clay for the heat treat. Prior to this, and I didn't get a recording of it, I had put the knife in a sandblaster and just used it to clean the scale off the blade. It helps the clay to stick better so that it doesn't fall off in the forge. So what I'm doing now is I'm laying some clay down the center of the spine, and I'm now creating little fingers that go off towards the cutting edge. On a knife this size, the result is called a hamon. I will refer to it as a Hammond just because that's what I've always called it. I know it's not technically right, but who cares? So anyways, I'm putting the clay on there, and on a knife this size, the Hammond is strictly ornamental. It is designed. The Japanese used it on their swords, their katanas, and the idea is that the spine of the knife stays kind of softer and a little more flexible, while the cutting edge is still hardened. And that way, when you're swinging it against something, it has a little bit more give before it breaks. In something this size, I mean, it may have some benefits as far as a softer spine and add a little flexibility to it, but I do it because I kind of like how it looks, and I have been chasing Hammonds ever since I saw one on Don Hansen's knives, and I was like, that was the coolest thing ever, so that's what I decided to do. Anyways, so once I've got one side done, I flip it over and put it on the other side in the same fashion. Now, I try to actually get the fingers of the clay that kind of go down towards the cutting edge. I try to get them to line up side to side. And what I've discovered is that doing it that way, the results in a much bolder Hammond, because it's not like one side of the steel is getting hardened while the other side is covered by clay. So I try to keep them symmetrical and cover it the same both sides. So you can see I'm looking at the line, turning it back, looking at the line there, and then turning it back and trying to plop it in about the same spot. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, and honestly, I've seen a lot of these where people just put the clay on wherever, and it leaves a pretty cool, has a pretty cool result, but this is just how I've done it. By the way, the clay that I'm using it's called Satinite. It's a refractory cement. Comes in powder, like a big bag of powdered stuff, and I just mix a little water in there and put it on the blade. So then I'll just make little fingers in between the ones that I put on there and draw it out. And once I have that done, I'm just making sure everything's in order, that it looks good, and it'll be ready to go right into the forge. I oftentimes put it in wet, but I'm not going to heat treat it tonight, so I'll let it dry overnight. Just extending some of those, and that is what it looks like when it's complete. It's ready to get heat treated at this point.